You're watching World Insight with me, Tian. The program is coming to you Monday to Friday on CGTN. Myanmar, a Southeast Asian country that has gone through many changes in the past few years alone. It acceded to the ASEAN, adopted a military-drafted constitution, and put in place a civilian government. Meanwhile, China and Myanmar, as neighbors, have improved comprehensive strategic cooperation. The two countries are working together to push forward economic development as well as friendly cooperation between the two militaries to jointly safeguard regional peace and stability. Last week, China and the 10-member ASEAN launched the joint naval drills, and the Defense Minister of Myanmar, Sein Win, attended the 8th Beijing Xiangshan Forum and met with Chinese State Councilor and Defense Minister Wei Fenghe. At the sidelines of the forum, I talked with Minister Sein Win about China and Myanmar security ties, Myanmar's civilian-military relations, and current issues in the country. Mr. Minister, thank you so much for joining us on CGTN. How do you see the security and defense cooperation prospect between China and Myanmar?
Myanmar and China have been maintaining comprehensive strategic relations as China and Myanmar are the initiating countries to conduct the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, who are working together as security friends. In the security perspective, the significant change in the Asia-Pacific region is that the U.S. has reorganized its Pacific Command into Indo-Pacific Command. Their purpose is not only in the Pacific region, but also in the Indian Ocean region. That's why countries around the Indian Ocean are concerned that there would be tensions related to security in the region.
Are you concerned?
Yeah.
Why?
If there are power struggles between two powerful countries, so there would be some effort on small countries.
This is a difficult time, many say, Mr. Minister. I'm sure you know better than I do that apparently some people try to make the world to force everybody to choose sides, whether with one power or with another power. Obviously, that's not what many countries in the world wants to do. So to Myanmar, what does that mean? How do you make a good balance for your own interest?
We have been practicing independent, active, and non-aligned foreign policy since our independence. That's why we're working together with not only world powers, but also other countries in a friendly manner. Like I said before, we live under 5 principles of peaceful coexistence.
We did notice, Mr. Minister, your country and also you have been quite active in approaching your counterparts from not just China, but also regional, let's say Japan, India as well. Could you help us to understand, even regionally, the interesting balance that you need to make in a way?
Among our neighboring countries, we have cooperation with most powerful countries, China and India, including military training programs. We also have comprehensive strategic relations with China, and we also have cooperation with Laos and Thailand that are ASEAN member countries. And we also have cooperation with other countries according to our foreign policy.
As we are speaking, the joint military drills is going on right now between China and ASEAN, naval drills, and also China, Malaysia, Thailand as well, both in the Pacific Ocean and also in the Indian Ocean. It seems that there has been some very new momentum now about military defense cooperation between China and the ASEAN countries, which Myanmar certainly is a party of it. How do you see this change, Mr. Minister, despite of the early bumpy ride, let's just say, over the past few years?
I would like to say this kind of cooperation and military drill in the region is very good. We think there is a more friendly way to make friends with each other.
As you may know, the COC and also the DOC are all in the process of negotiation, discussions. Things will get better?
I suppose so.
Good news. Mr. Minister, Myanmar has a very different system from a lot of countries compared to particularly the system of relations between the military and the government. According to your 2008 constitution, the security and defense ministers have 3 positions in the cabinet. Meanwhile, you have almost a quarter of the parliament seats going to the military officers. And you yourself have also been appointed by the military back in 2015. So how would you describe, many from outside your country really don't understand the logic of this arrangement. How would you describe now, Mr. Minister, the relationship between your government and the military now?
With regards to civil-military relation, one of my major responsibilities is civil-military relation. So far, relation between the military and the government is good. As a member of the cabinet, I have to follow orders and guidelines from our president and state leaders. At the same time, I have to fulfill my new duties assigned by the military commodore as a military personnel.
That would be very interesting to see the proportion of your work. What if there's a conflict between their decisions? What can you do?
Sometimes we have encountered this kind of conflict. I'd have to be balanced, in between.
I need to learn from your skills. One of the things people look at Myanmar is they want to look for opportunity to invest. Also, Myanmar is a country that now is more and more open to the world to seek an opportunity. But, Mr. Minister, since you are dealing with the defense and the security issue of the country, some investors, not just from China but from other parts of the world as well, wonder about the certainty of policies of Myanmar and whether they make a deal now, will those deals be carried out in the future? Whether the security situation inside the country will be able to permit the deals to be implemented for the future. Mr. Minister, your take.
There are 2 securities. Law enforcement is conducted by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Myanmar has a strong sustainable development plan and had been working to carry out that plan. There are 5 goals in that plan. They are peaceful national reconciliation, security and good governance, economic stability and strength in macroeconomic management, job creation and private school, private settlement growth, human resources and social development, natural resources and the environment.
Those are beautiful goals. But certainly you see the challenges, Mr. Minister, to say the least. For example, the ethnic militaries. What are going to be the relations between them and the overall national defense team? What is going to be the relations between them and the current government? We understand in the Panang conference, Aung San Suu Kyi promised there will be much frequent discussion and results. Many wonder, where is the result?
We are working to engage more interactions related to peace with those organizations. Although we have bottom-up approach in the past, now we work with a top-down approach. On the 15th and 16th of this month, State Councilor Commander-in-Chief had a meeting.
I understand there have been some media reports which I read about that meeting. Some of the ethnic armies, quote-unquote, complain, according to the media report, about yet there has been any result of that consultation. And yet, as you may see, Mr. Minister, it is very important for the country to maintain stability, and ethnic armies and the government is a big issue about to be sought out in order to guarantee security. So there seems to be a lot of urgency in that regard, Mr. Minister.
Now we are working on an agreement to get from the past 2 discussions, because we have 47 agreements. In coming 2020, we have 3 discussions, 3 peace talks, so we are hoping to have more agreements on upcoming discussions, peace talks.
For any country, those kind of issues would be extremely complicated because it involves militaries of different ethnic groups, it involves lives, it involves history. From your personal perspective as the minister, what do you think is the key here to resolve this long time challenge?
In my perspective, in my own perspective, every organization participates in this kind of activity. They have to lower their expectations, yes.
Their expectations, so that there will be compromise, yes. When people think about Myanmar these days, they think about the Rakhine issue. Maybe the rest of the world do not necessarily know that well about the history behind it. It's certainly a complicated one for any to resolve. But the crisis has to be resolved. It's about human lives. Many wonder, Mr. Minister, what has been the role of the military in this regard? Is the military making things ever more complicated?
The Rakhine issue has been handled by the Commodore, the military, to protect and safeguard our country's boundary as the primary concern, like that of international militaries. The Myanmar Minister of Home Affairs has signed an MOU with his Bangladesh counterpart. According to that MOU, we have been ready for repatriation since earlier this year. But we haven't received yet any of official returnees transferred by Bangladesh. So far, 170 returnees who returned voluntarily have been resettled in respective villages. We have signed agreements with UNDP and UNHCR for effective resettlement and rehabilitation. As the Rakhine issue is a historic one, as you mentioned, it may have to take time for resolving this issue.
But it is human lives that we are talking about here. And therefore, what the military in Myanmar would do in order to, in your word, to guard your border is very important. And the world has been watching.
Now we are building a border fence. In previous time, you also have a fence along the border, but now we have built a far better fence.
And what about inside the country? Those are already inside the country. What has been the military doing to them, and what will be the way the military will be treating them?
For the people in the Myanmar side, the military can only help them to be cured, like medical assistance, but can't do anything apart from medical assistance. But for security and other things, they are handled by the police force.
From the very beginning, it is handled by the police force, not the military.
Yeah.
And I have your words about that.
Yeah.
From now on, what will be the solution? That issue is having a huge impact on the image of your country, which is a country many believe is on the rise. So it's very important how Myanmar is handling that issue and showing to the rest of the world what Myanmar says and what Myanmar does.
We are dealing with this issue like the refugees. If they are going up to Myanmar, we are ready to accept them. Now we are working on it.
Really, can you accept them?
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
We have records, and if they meet conditions according to those records, we will accept them. We have records like their family photos and their names. For the returnees, they need to apply for citizenship. We have a citizenship law. So when they apply for citizenship, they need to follow our citizenship law. So we will accept those who are legitimate according to our law.
Which part of the citizenship law is the most important, you think, in this matter?
According to our current law, there's a board to examine people who are not Myanmar ethnic or Myanmar citizen. They are examined, everyone. If they are qualified, they can be Myanmar citizens. Not only Bengalis, but also other citizens, other nationals. If they are qualified, we give them citizenship.
I see, Mr. Minister, you are not only having the outlines of your possible answer for our interview, but also holding a book of Aung San Suu Kyi's recent speech Many wonder, what is your working relationship with Madam Aung San Suu Kyi? Certainly has been a spiritual leader for your country for quite some time, and has been having some very different stages of relationship with the military. How would you characterize it now?
Aung San Suu Kyi is not only our state leader, but also like a big sister for me. So we give full respect to her, elder sister, like an elder sister.
What would characterize as an elder sister?
I call Amma.
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 Amma. That's how you call elder sister?
Yeah.
And what does elder sister usually do? You know, what kind of person would be characterized as the elder sister, as you said?
Because she is 11 years older than me, and her knowledge and high experience are respected.
Our exclusive with Defense Minister of Myanmar. That is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, try to find us World Insight CGTN into your search engine or check out our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Sina Weibo. From me, Tian Wei, and everyone on the World Insight team, thanks for watching. Tune in again next time for insights across China and around the world. Good night.